What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are looking at the Prizepicks, Draftkings, and Fanduel MLB picks for today. Let's go ahead and get started. As always, if you enjoyed the video, appreciate it if you hit the like button, subscribe if you have not already. Looking at the main slate, it's only a 5-gamer. We do have an early slate as well, but let's go ahead and get started. Starting off, looking at the games today, just switching this over to the main slate. First one up is the Boston Red Sox against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pirates been in a big-time slump. Red Sox, have also been cooled off since a couple of months. But it's a good matchup for them going up against Brewbreaker. He's been okay at times this year, but below average for most of his career. You just have a couple of good hitters in this lineup that you want to consider. Verdugo's been mashing the ball, so at 3K, batting cleanup, he looks like a really good value. You can look to pay up for a Tommy Pham or go with a Bogarts at shortstop. And then if you really want to pay up, you can go for Devers, but don't have much interest in the bottom. But the 2K catcher is always somewhat interesting if you need just a pay down catcher on the Red Sox. Both of their catchers are 2K. Next game up, the Yankees had a big comeback win last night after it looked like they were going to have another loss, winning it in the bottom of the 10th. You have some good price tags on Oswaldo Cabrera's min price 2K. He got the start yesterday. He did go 0 for 4, but they called him up. They're dealing with a lot of injuries right now, with Stanton is still on the IL, Carpenter's on the IL, Bader's on the IL they acquired. So there's going to be playing time for some of these younger guys that they have called up, and if he's batting 6th again at 2K, looks like a great value pick. You have Patino against Castillo here. The Rays should probably have a decent total today, but they're at home. It's not a good ballpark to hit in. Some cheap guys would be David Peralta batting cleanup, Ramirez, the $2,400 catcher, Betancourt. Those would be the guys that look appealing. Don't have much interest in the Royals bats in Tropicana. We have two great pitchers, especially DeGrom's not missed a beat in his 3 starts so far this season. Maybe this is a start where he finally gets over 80 pitches. Even going 76 pitches last couple of starts, he still had double-digit strikeouts. He's just a monster. And now he's going up against the Braves, who are right behind the Angels in terms of highest strikeout rate in baseball this season. Expect DeGrom to cruise. Look to get to him as your top-end pitcher. And then you can even go a DeGrom Darvish if you wanted to, going up against the Nats at home. Padres probably the best team to stack today against Sanchez. Just a rematch of like a week ago with these teams. Both pitchers faced off against each other, and Darvish did get blown up in like the 7th, gave up back-to-back bombs, which cost them the win. But today, they're at home. Think he'll get the job done. Going back to DraftKings, the pitching, going with DeGrom at 10-3. He's only 600 more than McClanahan, and 16 innings so far this season, 28 strikeouts, 22 strikeouts in his last 11 and 2/3 innings, and only 76 pitches in each one. He's still putting up well over 35 fantasy points, which is crazy. And then the second pitcher I'm going with is going to look to get to Darvish at 9K, going up against the Nats. He's been fine for most of the season, right around a strikeout per inning. Last time out, giving up those runs against Washington weren't helpful, but what can you do? Still was okay with 18 fantasy points to get you a lot of strikeouts. Now let's go ahead and look to some bats today. First up at first base, you have Vlad Guerrero against Frankie Montas. Top end, some of these guys have tougher matchups, except for Brennan Drury, so I'm looking to get to him at 56. Even though he's expensive, he's still having a great season. For the Padres, Sanchez not good against either side of the plate. We've seen Drury have some monster games, and Josh Bell's been in a bit of a flunk right now. He did have a double and a couple RBIs, or couple of runs scored yesterday for 11, but he's only 4 for his last 40, so even though his batting average is still looking good at 281, last couple of weeks have really brought that down. He was over 300 at one point. So I do like Drury at 56. At second base, go with the 2K option from the Yankees. Oswaldo Cabrera, he does have some speed. AAA at a double-digit stolen bases. He had 8 home runs, 261 average, 494 slugging in AAA. And this one, switch hitter, so gets the platoon advantage every time. Just second base, not always a very deep position, so if I can pay down for a guy like Cabrera, the most expensive guys are Lau, McNeil, and Cronenworth. Not exactly power hitters, except for Lau, but he's been hurt for a large part of this season. Over at third base, look to get to Manny Machado, who's been crushing it for the Padres. He's batting .419 in his last 10 games, over almost a 1200 OPS, over 700 slugging. Just been mashing the ball, only 7 strikeouts as well, and he does give you some speed as well. So you see a lot of high 20s, and you see a lot of double-digit fantasy games for him recently. I think that should continue against Sanchez today. And then last but not least in the outfield, Alex Verdugo at 3K, batting cleanup for the Red Sox. Just been great for them. He's also batting over 400 in his last 10. He's really brought that average up after he was in a slump for a large part of the season. Since the All-Star break, he's really turned it around. It's a little too late for the Red Sox at this point. But at least Verdugo is starting to pay off a bit. So that's what I got for DraftKings. Look at FanDuel. So on FanDuel, it's a little bit different because, classic FanDuel, they don't have Oswaldo Cabrera from the Yankees on here. So if they do happen to put him on throughout the day, definitely could look to get to him depending on what position they put him at. But he would be most likely min price. At least DraftKings has him, so we can look to take advantage of his price tag there. But on FanDuel, I put Drury in at second base. I had to get to Donaldson at third base because I do want to get to Machado, but $2,000 difference. There's not a ton of value right now unless they put Cabrera from the Yankees in here. So I got to Donaldson. He did have a great game yesterday. He's a little streaky. Hopefully he can have a couple of good games in a row. And then the outfield, Profar and Verdugo, two guys that will be getting, well, at least Verdugo's been red hot. Profar's been cooled off a bit, but gets a good matchup. Switch hitter against Sanchez, and they have the highest total on the slate, and he bats leadoff for them, so chances to get a lot of at-bats today. And I still went with DeGrom, 12K. You can go down to Darvish if you wanted to, but $1,400 won't make too much difference for me, so that's what I got for DFS today. Let's look at Prize Picks. All right, so on Prize Picks, main slate, there's only 5 games. There's some more in the early slate, but I just have 3 props today. I don't want to push or anything that I don't feel great about. So DeGrom over 9.5 strikeouts. Gets a great matchup against the Braves in terms of them striking out so much. Maybe today they let him go a little bit deeper, but hasn't really even mattered for him. Even in 76 pitches, last couple starts, he still has double-digit strikeouts, and good chance that can continue today against the Braves. I went with Cedric Mullins over 6.5 fantasy. Do like the Orioles stack a bit in part of the early slate. They're going up against the Cubbies at home. Good ballpark to hit in. And Sampson, so lefty-righty matchup for Mullins. And even if he just doesn't even get a hit, if he gets a walk, stolen base, we know he gives you a lot of speed. He has 25 stolen bases on the season, and he's having a good season as well since especially turned it around the last couple of months. And then Luis Garcia, last one, over 5 strikeouts. He has 5 or more strikeouts in 11 straight starts. Gets a matchup against the White Sox. You have some high strikeout guys like Moncada, Eloy Jimenez striking out almost 24% of the time this year, and there's the catcher striking out a lot for them as well. So I think that a good chance that will continue for Garcia to at least get 5 Ks to continue that streak that he's going on, get it to 12 straight. But that's about it for me today. Thank you for watching. Best of luck, and I will see you all next time.